Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, back again with my guy, Ronnie. You know what I'm saying? The Vicelord. We're trying to figure out some things here. On the last episode when we left, he was saying something about your word is still your bond, even if you lied to it. What do y'all think about that? Hit me up in the comment section on YouTube and let me know what you think about that, right? Because I have issue with that, right? Because I'm sitting here thinking, and you help me out with this, Ron. What I'm thinking is this. You take a relationship, right?
Okay.
And you got a married couple, and they get married, they take a vow, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
That's an oath.
That's an oath. Right. But here's the thing. What if one of them is beating the other?
What if one of them is beating the other?
Yeah.
Does that mean
Did the oath include that?
just because it didn't include that, you took that oath to that person, as that person is?
So no matter,
even though you didn't know,
even if you don't know the truth about a person, you think you're obligated to stay because you gave your word.
I mean, yes.
Once
you give an oath,
mm-hmm.
you give an oath, that is a binding spiritual contract in my belief.
Yeah, in your belief. And okay, wait a minute. You said something very interesting in your belief. What's the foundation of that?
What do you mean?
Your belief, because that comes from somewhere. Is that a moral concept that you were taught or that you learned over time? Is that a moral concept that came to you? You know what I'm saying? Out of whatever religion you practice or whatever the case may be. What's the foundation of that belief that supports that idea? Because I think it's biblical that you can, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? I think it's biblical that divorce is allowed if let's say that it's adultery involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the husband cannot forgive the wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that as a result of that, his behavior starts to cause him to mistreat her.
Right.
I think that is the grounds for divorce.
Biblically speaking. However,
right. Okay.
I'm not.
Now that's the biggest over. I think.
However, I'm not a Christian.
Okay.
So
what does it
first
say
of
in
all,
Islam?
and Christians do
right.
the whole turn the other cheek, brother. And I am not turning no other cheek about
right.
nothing. And I don't expect anybody to do that for me.
I got you.
That being said,
yes.
In the Quran,
yes.
The Holy Prophet, peace be unto him, says that if you make an oath,
yes,
and you make a greater oath,
yeah.
then the first oath can be forgiven. It can be overlooked. However, again, though I am a practicing Muslim,
I got you.
I believe that the word that you stand by defines you as a man.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that you give your word, no matter what that word is,
mm-hmm.
the minute you give that word and go back on what that word is,
mm-hmm.
or what you gave that word for,
mm-hmm.
and you go back on that,
mm-hmm.
that subtracts from you as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And you asked me before,
yes.
was I raised that way? Was I taught? To be honest with you, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
However,
I do honestly, in the pit of my heart, believe
yes.
that if this was a value that was instilled in the children of this world, not just this country, but of this world today, that we would not be, this country would not be in the shape that it's in, and the people of this world would not be in the shape that they're in, as far as the decisiveness and the derision between the people.
Mm-hmm. But if we went down that concept, we're going to tackle this, then we're going to move on. But if we went down that road, with all due respect, the people that had no good intentions, that were slick with the tongue, could trick people into giving an oath.
It happens every day, brother.
Of course it does, but that's what I'm saying.
There are used car salesmen everywhere.
Absolutely. but here's the thing. You can get out of those contracts. You understand what I'm saying? If a person was not present themselves in good faith. That's what I'm getting at. So when a gang doesn't present itself in good faith, you know, You're saying you're still bound by that, even if you didn't have the wherewithal.
Right. You are still bound by that. And what I would say in answer to that, because to keep it from being a vicious cycle, what you do is, as you as an individual, try to influence for the betterment of the organization that you're in. But and if you're not big enough to influence everybody, influence your part. Mm-hmm. And if you can influence your part, then hopefully you're a good enough teacher and a positive enough influence that your part will influence others. Hopefully. That's idealistic, I know.
It's very, very idealistic.
However,
and I get it, though. I get it.
That's the way I believe it should be. Yeah. Just like if I mistreat my wife. Yeah. My wife gave an oath to me before Allah saying that she would be my wife from this point forward. Right. If something about my person changed, or if she was not fully aware of who I was as a person, that's no fault of mine. Mm-hmm. So why should I forgive her of her oath that she's given to me because she wasn't, and I don't go around deceiving people.
Right. We're just talking in hypothetical.
Right. I mean, I don't do that. And I don't try to make people think that I'm more than I am or less than I am, because Lord knows I'm no better than anybody.
But what did the Quran say? What does Allah say about mistreating your wife?
As
you know what I mean? As far as like, if you married your wife, you presented yourself as this kind, caring person that was submissive to the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Quran, and all of that comes with that, and you turn out to not be that person. What is it that? Where is it in the Quran that says the wife is bound?
I'm not saying I said that was personal belief. I'm saying that's personal belief. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that the Holy Prophet taught that at all. But what I am saying is that
I'm pretty sure you have to be submissive to God, Allah.
Of course.
In that, and if you're submissive to Allah, then you understand that it's a code of conduct that comes.
That's correct.
You know, and But let's move on. Let's move on a little bit, right? Because I wanna tackle. Do you have any kids?
I do.
You have kids. 6 kids. Oh, you busy? You busy? You busy? You too busy for me. But look, here's what I would say to you, and what is the question that I want to ask you about that? Do your kids know that you are part of a gang or an organization? Let's go.
That's my children do. No.
They do?
Well, my older children know. My younger children are young enough not to know. Yeah. But yeah, my older children do know.
Would you I'm sure the answer is no, but I'm going to ask it. If your kids asked you to join or have asked you to join, you said no to them. And I'm assuming that you said no because a few minutes ago you said you will tell people this is not what you want.
Number one, first of all, of course I have said no.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for the sake of honesty, my oldest son is a traveling vice lord.
He traveled.
And he became vice lord after I came to prison.
Do you think he was influenced by you?
Unfortunately. And that's something that I live with every day.
See, that happened to me too. Both of my sons, everything I did to try to discourage them from living the lifestyle, it did not work.
It seemed to push them closer.
It pushed them closer to it, you know what I mean? And so I understand that, you know what I mean?
And it hurts my heart. And I hope, though, that being said, I hope and pray that my son is a strong enough man and has a strong enough mind to honor his oath without falling subject to the many pitfalls of this life.
It's hard, man. It's hard, and I feel for you, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna share this with you. You know, about my youngest son. He's home now. You know what I'm saying? Both of my sons home doing okay. But my youngest son, man, I remember, man, when I was at this other prison, and I had just gotten shipped away from him and my oldest son, and they put my youngest son in violation. And at that time, you know, I had a cell phone, all that kind of stuff, right? So he called me, man, and asked for, you know, what's going on? What should he do? Because the situation was that, you know, he was hustling, getting his bread. And one of the guys that was over him was getting high. And my son was selling his stuff through somebody else. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want the family to know his business. And they found out that he was hustling. So an issue came up to where they wanted him to break bread with them. He was like, "That's not gonna happen. I gotta take care of my own business. You can do this and do that. You feel me? You gotta pay too."
I do understand.
So anyway, they put him in the huckleberry. You know what I'm saying? And hit him with some stuff because he slapped somebody that was a peon, as we call it, you know what I'm saying? And but this peon had a lot of friends, you know what I'm saying, that were affiliated, and he took the peon's phone. But anyway, long story short, they ended up putting him in violation. And I've never felt so helpless in my life. At this time, I was already retired, but everybody still knew me. Still a lot of, you know what I'm saying, respect, all this and that, right? And made some phone calls, whatever the case may be. Long story short, they put hands on him. It was a physical, 6 minutes, no cover. You understand? And when he called me, and he could barely, you know how when you've been boxing or fighting, you've been hitting your ribs and you can't really take a deep breath? That's how he was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "I'm all right, Pops. I'll be all right." He could barely take a deep breath to talk.
Right.
And then I heard him spit, right? I said, "What's wrong with you?" And he's spitting up blood. You know what I'm saying? And I've never felt so helpless in my life. So I hope that you don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Because it's a terrible feeling to have. It was for me to have my child, both of my kids, be a part of a gang, knowing that they had given permission to the organization and those individuals that they will be subordinate to discipline them. I'm their father. You feel what I'm saying? That's my role to do. But
absolutely,
you know what I mean? And that's a heavy one. So what do you think about that? How do you think that would affect you, man, if your son called and needed some assistance in that?
Well, as far as needing assistance, you know, that's a catch-22 for me, because you gave your oath to live by these laws. And if you're not living by these laws, then you are subject to the discipline. And me using my influence to keep that discipline from happening is the problem of why this organization is so freaking watered down now.
Right.
That being said, as a father, as an absent father, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I would do.
Brother, I hope you don't have to experience that, because I'm going to tell you something. Even though, you know, like my son, he got put in the huckleberry, you know what I'm saying? Because he wouldn't give his stuff to them,
right,
so to speak.
And I mean,
but even if he would have been in the wrong, and you know what I'm saying? If he would have violated one of the rules, whatever, if it's that feeling of knowing, coming to understand and accept. And don't get me wrong, I put many people in the rack.
Right.
I put hands on people, you know what I'm saying, in the rack. I got put in the rack myself. You feel me? So, but it never really dawned on me that what I was doing to somebody else's child until it happened to my child.
I understand.
It never even hit me that I had handed my responsibility off to somebody else, even though they joined without my consent, permission, or knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
But it was like I had handed it off to somebody else, and we can say what we want to say. We can be idealistic all we want to, right? But if it's foul, it's foul.
You're absolutely correct.
And you're hoping that something that's foul is going to do the right thing by your child, and that's scary as hell.
It is, and it's also scary hoping that the person that his top is righteous,
right?
You know, because I don't even know this man. I know what I've heard about this man, but I don't know anything about this man. And other than what I hear, and I mean, to be honest with you, what I hear is not what I would want for my son at all. And
do you talk to him to try to?
I do.
Yeah.
He don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm called a hypocrite and everything else, which I mean may be true, but I don't mean to be a hypocrite. I just mean to be a better man than I was yesterday.
Yeah, you're trying to be a father.
And in being a better man, I'm trying to provide guidance and light on a situation that may not be fully illuminated to that young man.
Yeah, right.
But the biggest draw seems to be the money, man.
Yeah.
Seems to be the appearance and that shallow shit that goes along with it.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest draw. And it was, and to be completely honest with you, that wasn't even the draw for me.
Right.
Wasn't even the draw for me.
Right.
The guy that put me on, the guy that is still my top. We were brothers. We are brothers.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the money, but it was the fact that I knew for a fact that no matter what the situation was, if I picked up that phone, he was going to be there.
He was there.
And as a matter of fact, he was there.
Yeah.
When I picked up that phone.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
And now, do you think that's across all organizations now? It's about the money now. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I see. I think the money and the drugs is really just.
I mean, it's taking over. It's run rampant. These drugs, bro, is.
But
unbelievable.
I don't know if you see it, but I see more people on the drugs now that are affiliated than ever.
And this is what's so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
These guys across the board in every organization, gang, however you want to verbalize the situation, but all of these people that are in charge seem to be on dope. And yet they're drug testing their own and holding their own in violation for being high.
That's right.
And yet they're high and have to get high just to function.
Right.
Just to function. Just to come out the cell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They can't even get out of the bed unless they hit it.
And it's absolutely, again, we go back to where we started talking about double standards.
Right.
Because this life is full of them.
Right.
This life is full of them.
That's true, man. That's true. I just, like I say, it keeps bringing me back to it. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, because I want people that are listening to this show to fully understand that I don't recommend you do any of it. I recommend if you're in it to get out. We'll disagree on the oath aspect, and I respect how you articulated that. I don't agree with it, but I respect how you articulated that because you're going to stand on it regardless.
I am.
And that's something to be admired.
Well, please don't do that.
I think that...
Please don't admire that.
No, I'm talking about the stand to itness. But I think that, with all due respect, I think that that's misguided because the obligation has to be fulfilled on both ends. And I get it. You should have had the wherewithal, but what if you didn't? What if you were too young? What were you too naive? That leaves people that out there that want to take advantage of people in all aspects to roam free, just like wolves, man.
I completely get it. And I think part of the reason why I feel the way I do on this particular subject is because looking back, I was a 32-year-old man. Most people, let's get into that. Most people are not 32. You're absolutely correct. That's exactly correct.
They haven't really gotten it together.
And that's what I'm saying. I gave my oath as a 32-year-old man.
But hold up, wait a minute. I ain't trying to give you no out either, but this is what I'm going to say to that. You, at a younger age, you were being groomed and you didn't even realize it. So you were being taught that this is what it is anyway. So you say that you gave your oath at 32, you really became a part of it way younger. Unbeknownst to you. That's what I would say. But I want to get into why, let's get into a little bit more of these younger people on this last episode, right? Because I want people to fully understand, man, what comes with that lifestyle. All of the different things that come with it, what you might be called to do or not. I want to get into that a little bit, okay? But look here, I'm going to end this one right here because this time is flying, I'm telling you now. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.